Hi guys, this is Klazart, bringing you another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on Game 4 between Savior and Zero of the MSL Round of 8, and Savior's dream of dominating every single player in 2009 hangs by the slimmest of threads. Looks like Savior is going to be at the bottom right hand corner in blue at the 5 o'clock position, and Zero at the bottom left hand corner in what looked like red at the 7 o'clock position. Savior, do or die time. This is the time where he has to produce. Is he going to try something risky? He's going to try something crazy and off the wall. Try another sort of rush to get him back in. That's what he did when he was one game down early on. What can he do to take this to a tiebreaker? Zero certainly seems to be playing some confident Zerg versus Zerg StarCraft, and his Mutalist micro has been quite good, but at the same time, I can't help but feel that he hasn't really lit the scene alight, and maybe it's just my bias showing through here, but he doesn't seem to be doing anything that exciting. He's just playing some decent StarCraft, some good StarCraft, but he's allowing Savior to be the aggressor. He's absorbing the pressure, and then he's just hitting back and taking advantage of what seems to be slightly superior Mutalist micro by him. It's going to be interesting to see what Savior goes for. Both players scouting in the wrong direction, unfortunately for them this time around. Both players scouting northwards. Zero looks like he's going to put his pool down first. I guess he anticipates that Savior might try and do something risky this time around, so it looks like Zero's gone for an overpool. Savior still not put his pool down yet, so it'll be interesting to see whether Savior decides to get his hatchery down first again this time around, and whether that will confer an advantage. And it does look like Savior is going for a 12 drone build. Whether that's hatcheries or spawning pool, it'll be interesting to see. He's probably going to go for a 12 hatch. That would be my guess, although we haven't seen him send a drone out towards his natural expo just yet. Zero, meanwhile, is going for a pretty standard game. He's gone for overpool. Savior looks like he is going for a 12 hatch, and the only advantage for Savior is that Zero hasn't scouted him just yet, and that's going to give him a little bit of an advantage, because that should put him ahead in this game versus Zero. Savior now sending his Overlord, sending second Overlord towards Zero's base, obviously in the correct direction. Zero doesn't seem to have sent his second Overlord out at all. His second Overlord is only just now out and heading towards Savior's base. Zero now is going to get those 6 Zerglings out, and if he can put some pressure on Savior early on and slow him down, Savior's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Again, Savior has a slight advantage because Zero scouted in the wrong direction initially. Savior now putting his pool down, so if Savior can get a couple of Zerglings out and hold his defense against these initial 6 Zerglings that Zero now starting up his lair, if Savior can hold his defense against these initial 6 lings, if Zero sends these lings in the wrong direction, then Savior's going to be in trouble. However, if Zero sends these lings straight at Savior's base, Savior, having gone for the 12 hatch, is not going to be able to defend this, and is going to be finding himself out of the MSL with an end to his dream. Zero forced to split up his lings at least to start out with, but once he sees that Overlord from Savior over the bridge heading in that direction, he's going to know exactly where Savior's base is. Savior changed the direction of his Overlord to try and confuse Zero, but it hasn't worked, and now Zero's lings are heading straight for Savior's base. Savior's 12 hatch is exposed. Zero is going to get into Savior's base, and Savior's got nothing to defend this. Savior's spawning pool still not complete, and Savior's in huge trouble here. He's going to lose this game right off the bat. He's going to lose this game right at the start before it's even started, and this time Savior is going to be the one who's going to be surprised. Just as I was saying that Zero wasn't doing anything smart or anything different, he's decided to go for an overpool, and I personally am a huge fan of the overpool build, and Savior's natural is just going to go down without anything. Savior bringing the drones out, but I fear he might have reacted too late to Zero's attack, and Savior's natural goes down, and that's surely GG, and surely that is Savior out of this competition. So Savior invested so much into that natural expo, wasn't able to defend it, and Zero with his initial 6 Zerglings takes out Savior's natural expo, and that's clever by Zero. It has to be said. He had a 1-game lead. He could afford to try something different. If it paid off, he'd win. If it didn't, he'd still have another chance in round 2, and he decided to go for that. Although it has to be said, an overpool isn't that much of a rush build. It's not that risky, and Savior obviously with the 12 hatchery unfortunately getting caught by Zero, and that's going to be it. That's going to be GG, and that's going to be Savior out, and you can just see the disappointment on Savior's face, and really I guess Savior has no one but himself to blame. First game he really tried something that he shouldn't have. I don't feel he had the need to, but it does seem like he needs to do something if he wants to dominate in Zerg. If he wants to dominate in 2009, he's going to have to do something about his Zerg versus Zerg. It is an unpredictable matchup. It is a little bit of a lottery, but Savior is in a lot of trouble. He's managed to produce a few lings. He's trying to take his natural expo again, realizing that he's committed to that build, but Zero's going to have a massive lead here, and I'm not sure what Savior is going to be able to do. Savior now coming in with the Zerglings, trying to put some pressure on Zero. Savior trying desperately to come back in this game, but it just looks impossible for him to do that right now. And really, he's gonna have to do something. If he's gonna have to do something to improve his Zerg versus Zerg, to improve his chances of progressing past these Zerg versus Zerg. This was a BO5. I have to be honest. I didn't believe that Zero had what it before this match started. I didn't believe that Zero would have what it would take to overcome Savior in a best of 5. I just felt that Savior's superior tactical sense and his confidence, his big match experience would shine through, but that's not good. That's proven to not be the case, and I really cannot see Savior coming back from this position. Savior's forced to build spores colonies, obviously, because he still doesn't have a lair, and Zero with the Mutalisk out, Savior's Zerglings are going to be forced to rush back, and really, I don't see how Savior's going to be able to defend this. He doesn't even have enough Zerglings. Zero has got more than enough Zerglings, and he continues to pick off Savior's Zerglings as Savior retreats towards his natural expo, but with the spore, even with the spore colony, Zero is going to be able to combine his Mutalisk with his Zerglings and take Savior down, and at the very least, Zero is going to be able to control Savior's ramp with those Mutalisks and get his own Zerglings into Savior's main. Savior trying to circle around with another group of Zerglings to try and counter Zero somewhat. He does have some Zerglings in his main as well as his natural, defended both by spores, and he's hoping, but Zero obviously cleverly, Savior hoping that if he can bring those Zerglings around, Zero now getting his Zerglings in through the ramp, using the Mutalisks to get another few shots at Savior's Zerglings. Savior coming in, Zero's got the sunken waiting. Savior's just going to try and take some drones down to try and equalize the advantage. He's now losing the gas at his what looks like his main. Savior trying to bring his Zerglings back. Savior trying to bring his Zerglings back from his natural to try and fight back. I'm not sure how many drone kills Savior's gotten meanwhile in Zero's base, and I'm afraid it's going to be all in vain. Zero's got a large Zergling group still in Savior's base, and Zero's just able to pull those Zerglings back. He's just able to go and snipe, do some damage, lure Savior's Zerglings out of the hiding, and then pull his Zerglings back into the protection of his Mutalisk. And it's just desperate for Savior, unfortunately. If it wasn't the deciding game of a best of 5, if it wasn't a game that was must-win for Savior, I'm sure he would have GG'd long ago. The only reason he's staying in, despite the desperation of his situation, is because he's going to be going out of the MSL, and I just don't think Savior can believe this is happening to him. Hopefully he can recover from this and not go back into another slump. This is going to throw this MSL wide open, and Zero is now just going to be able to close out this game. I think he's got to be ecstatic here. The expression on his face doesn't show a lot of joy. He's still concentrating fiercely. He's desperate not to let go of this, not to surrender his advantage at all. He's playing very hard, and you've got to wish him the best of luck. I can only hope that now that he's knocked out probably the best Zerg player remaining in the competition, that he can replace Savior adequately and go on and actually win this MSL, because otherwise it would have been a waste, and Savior cannot believe it. Not showing any emotion though, blinking hard. You can see when Savior blinks a lot, that's when you can tell that he's unhappy about what's going on, but his natural is going to go down yet again to those Mutalisks, and I mean, this game was over. This game was over the moment those 6 Zerglings got into Savior's main and Savior had nothing to defend, and took out Savior's natural, and Savior had nothing to defend it. Absolutely nothing. And Savior just did not see that coming. He went for a 12 hatch, and unfortunately for him, he's paid the price for it. Savior trying to sneak a drone away to maybe try and build another base somewhere, just out of desperation. Zero meanwhile taking his natural expo. Savior loses his natural yet again, now putting up a Spire. He's got a Sunken and a Spore in his main, and it's just a matter of time before Zero closes this game and the matchup out, and drops Savior out of the MSL. So well played by Zero, full credit to him. Really, Savior versus Lita in the semi-finals would have been exciting. Zero versus Lita, I think this actually does Lita a huge favor, because if Lita can win his matchup against Luxury, which is Zerg versus Terran, if he can beat Luxury, I'm sure he'll overcome Zero, and it would be a great chance for him in his first season to actually take out the whole MSL and actually become an MSL champion. And I'm sure a lot of players in the MSL right now are licking their lips and are very delighted with Zero for having taken out Savior. I know who I would rather face if it was a choice between Zero and Savior. It would definitely have been Zero. Although obviously he's shown how strong he is Zerg versus Zerg, and if Luxury does go past Lita, Zero versus Luxury will be an exciting game to watch. But Savior with a few Zerglings at Zero's natural expo, and finally Savior GG's, concedes the matchup. He's gone, he's out. Zero with a massive victory. He's knocked Savior out. Woojin Stars have a star in the making. This is Klazart, guys. Hugely disappointed, but well played Zero. Full credit to him. He deserves his victory. He's earned it. Savior just wasn't able to do it on the day. He just wasn't good enough. Zerg versus Zerg can be a lottery. It can be all about the build orders. Personally, not my favorite matchup, and I guess you can see why. Although if Savior had won, I'm sure I would be singing a different tune, so I shouldn't be hypocritical about it. Nevertheless, GG, this is Klazart. Thanks for listening.